Fucking billionaires? That's a common sentence that you can usually hear from San Francisco Bay Area residents, where billionaires have a tremendous impact in their economy and social lives. In the last decades, billionaires have started to acquire tech companies and startups, the same way as Saudi millionaires are buying European football teams. And this is affecting our jobs and the whole open source ecosystem. In this episode of Code of Culture, we will use Marxist frameworks and the ideas of Wallerstein to understand how billionaires can manipulate the technology job market. Let's get Marxist in Code of Culture. In the Bay Area, billionaires have become a part of the cultural landscape. From tech founders to venture capitalists, these ultra-wealthy individuals have accumulated unprecedented power and influence. In the episode about social classes in the open source, I put them at the top of the ladder, but I didn't even mention them until now. However, their actions have not gone unnoticed by the rest of the community. The phrase "fucking billionaires" has become a common sentiment among many San Francisco residents who feel the impact of their wealth and power. One way in which billionaires exert their power is through their ability to manipulate the job market. By investing in tech companies, these billionaires can initiate simultaneous layoffs, thereby controlling the supply and demand of labor. This has a significant impact in the job market and the economy as a whole. But why should the open source care about this? Well, we should care because big companies like Amazon, Google, IBM, which acquired Red Hat, Microsoft, Facebook, or Twitter, are creating and maintaining most of the open source applications and libraries that we are using every day in the tech market. To understand the influence of billionaires in the Bay Area, we can turn to the ideas of the sociologist Max Weber. Weber argued that social class is defined by one's relationship to the means of production, as well as one's access to cultural and social resources. In the Bay Area, billionaires often form exclusive circles where they socialize and collaborate with one another. This allows them to accumulate even more power and control. One example of these closed circles are the clubs for millionaires in San Francisco. The Battery is one of them, with members like Michael and Shoshi Birch, founders of Vivo. The list of members is secret, but it's said that contains many owners of big tech companies and startups. While billionaires may have significant influence over the Bay Area economy and culture, their actions have global consequences. By manipulating the job market and forming exclusive circles, they contribute to the increasing wealth gap and inequality. But how can they manipulate the job market? Well, let's get Marxist. Marxism is a political and economic theory that emphasizes the struggle between capitalists and workers. One key concept in Marxism is dialectical materialism, which is the idea that history progresses through the conflict between opposing forces. For Marxists, the two main opposing forces are the ruling class, the capitalists who own the means of production, and the working class, the one who sell their labor. Another important concept in Marxism is the reserve army of labor. This refers to the pool of unemployed or underemployed workers who are available for employment when the economy expands. This reserve army of labor keeps wages low and helps capitalists maintain their power over the workers. Billionaires in the tech industry have the power to invest or they invest from certain companies, which can have a ripple effect on the job market and the economy. When billionaires invest in a company, it can lead to growth and job creation, but when they invest, it can result in layoffs and job losses. Moreover, by investing in multiple companies, billionaires can control the competition and pricing in the industry, creating a monopoly or oligopoly that can further harm the job market and the economy. This kind of manipulation is possible because of the immense wealth and power that billionaires have and the strategies and joint agendas that they create in their close circles and meeting points. When this kind of manipulation happens, the reserve army of labor can come into play. The laid off workers of multiple companies at the same time can become part of the pool of unemployed and underemployed engineers and programmers, keeping wages low and allowing billionaires and investors to maintain their power and reduce costs. Now, we explained how billionaires in the tech industry can manipulate the job market and the economy. But another factor that has impacted the tech industry in the recent years is the rise of remote work. Remote work has allowed companies to tap into the global pool of talent, potentially leading to more competition for jobs and decrease in wages. This trend has also contributed to the growth of the so-called gig economy, where programmers are hired on a project-by-project basis without benefits and protections of traditional employment. The impact of remote work over the global economy is still unfolding, but it has the potential to increase the already existing inequalities. Those who have access to the internet and the necessary skills and equipment to work remotely may have an advantage over those who do not. This could create a situation where the already powerful tech industry gains even more influence and control over the global economy, contradicting the values of the open source movement of equal access to knowledge and technology. To understand the impact of these developments, we can turn to Wallerstein global system theory. According to Wallerstein, the global economy is made up of core, semi-peripherals, and peripherals countries. Core countries, such as the United States, are the dominant players in the global economy, while peripheral countries are often exploited for their cheap labor and natural resources. The action of billionaires in the tech industry can be seen as reinforcing this global hierarchy, with core countries making profit from their investments, while peripheral countries may be left behind. The rise of remote work and the gig economy further complicates this picture, potentially leading to the exploitation of workers in peripheral countries who are willing to work for lower wages and fewer benefits. Actually, in the recent years, the rise of global remote work has enabled companies to outsource certain tasks to workers in semi-periphery and periphery countries, where labor is cheaper. As a result, workers in core countries may face increased competition for jobs, leading to lower salaries and fewer job security. This trend is consistent with Wallerstein's prediction that core countries will seek to maintain their economic dominance by exploiting the labor and resources of the periphery and semi-periphery. In this sense, the actions of tech billionaires in promoting the global remote work can be seen as a continuation of the patterns of exploitation and inequality defined by Wallerstein. In short, the impact of billionaire manipulation of the global economy cannot be fully understood without also taking into account the role of the remote work and the global system of economic relations. Other anthropological frameworks, such as cultural relativism or symbolic anthropology, can help us understand the relationship between billionaires and the job market. Cultural relativism is the idea that we should try to understand other cultures in their own terms without judging them by their standards of our own culture. This can help us see how billionaires in the tech country have created their own culture and norms that are different from those in other industries. For example, many tech companies have a culture of working long hours and valuing productivity above all else. We saw how some workers were even sleeping in Twitter offices just after Elon Musk fired half of the team and asked for some big changes in a really short time. This can create a sense of camaraderie among employees, but it can also lead to burnout and lack of work-life balance. Kind reminder that those Twitter workers were fired some weeks later after delivering the Blue Star feature. Symbolic anthropology, on the other hand, focuses on the meanings that people attach to things and actions. In the case of billionaires in the tech industry, this can help us understand how they use their wealth and power to shape the job market. For example, some billionaires have been known to offer exorbitant salaries and perks to lure talented workers away from other companies, creating a bidding war for top talent. This is just the same as Saudi football teams owners pay millions for famous football players. This can drive up salaries in the industry and create a sense of competition among companies. However, this can also lead to a situation where only a few companies can afford to pay such big salaries, while smaller companies struggle to compete. Again, just like football leagues, where a couple of clubs have most of the budget for star players, this can create an uneven job market where a few companies hold all the power and smaller companies struggle to survive. In conclusion, anthropological frameworks can help us understand the culture and the power dynamics of the tech industry and how they shape the job market. By understanding these dynamics, we can better address the issues of inequality and manipulation in the industry. In conclusion, by exploring various anthropological frameworks like Marxism or the global system theory, we can better understand the complex relationship between the billionaires and the job market. This way, we can critically see the role of billionaires in the economy and their impact on society. Thanks for watching this episode of Code of Culture, and repeat everyone after me. Fucking billionaires.